Chosen ones, God gave you the hardest test of all, and you passed it in a way that has left the heavens in awe. Your journey wasn't easy. It was a fire, a storm, a mountain steeper than any soul should climb. But you didn't just survive it. You walked through it with a heart so steady, a spirit so unbreakable, that even the universe took notice. This isn't just a moment, it's a divine confirmation that you are set apart, marked for a purpose so grand it shakes the foundations of doubt. Your victory is no accident, and what's coming next will prove it. The trials you faced weren't random. They were crafted, chosen specifically for you. Why? Because God saw something in you that could withstand the weight of the impossible. Think about it: when the world pressed down, when the odds stacked against you, when every door seemed locked, you didn't break. You stood firm. That's not just strength. That's divine power coursing through your veins. The hardest tests aren't given to the weak, they're reserved for those destined to carry a legacy. And you, chosen one, have proven you're ready to hold it. Your path was never meant to be smooth. The fire you walked through wasn't meant to burn you. It was meant to refine you. Like gold in a furnace, every moment of pain, every tear, every sleepless night was shaping you into something eternal. You didn't see it then, but those struggles were building a foundation for miracles. The scars you carry, they're not wounds, they're badges of victory, proof that you faced the darkness and came out shining. God's plan wasn't to break you. It was to show the world what an unshakable soul looks like. Now, pause for a moment. If this truth is hitting your spirit, if you feel that spark of recognition, I need you to do something. Drop a 777 inches the comments below. That number carries the energy of divine alignment, a signal to the heavens that you're claiming this moment. And if you're ready to stand with thousands of other chosen ones walking this path, hit that like button and subscribe to join this movement. Your action isn't just a click, it's a declaration that you're ready for what God has next. Let's talk about what those tests did to you. They didn't just prove your strength, they revealed your purpose. Every time you chose faith over fear, every time you pushed forward when the world told you to quit, you were aligning with a destiny written before time began. The hardest tests aren't about punishment, they're about preparation. God wasn't testing you to see if you'd fail. He was training you to rise. You weren't just surviving, you were learning how to wield the power He placed inside you. Consider the story of Joseph, sold into slavery, thrown into prison, forgotten by those he helped. His life was one test after another. Yet every step, every betrayal, every moment of despair was a thread in a tapestry God was weaving. When the time came, Joseph didn't just rise, he ruled. Your story is no different. The tests you passed weren't dead ends, they were doorways. Each one opened a path to a future where your light doesn't just shine, it transforms everything it touches. You might wonder why your road was so rough. Why did the weight feel heavier for you than for others? It's because your calling is bigger. The greater the purpose, the fiercer the test. God doesn't give His hardest battles to those who can't handle them. He chose you because He knew you could. You didn't just pass, you passed the right way. With integrity, with courage, with a heart that refused to turn bitter. That's what makes you different. That's what makes you chosen. Let's be real, those tests could have broken you. They broke others. You saw it. People who gave up, who let anger or despair win. But you kept going. You chose love when hate would have been easier. You chose hope when despair was knocking. That's not just resilience. That's a miracle. It's the kind of faith that moves mountains, the kind that makes the heavens pause and say, That's my child. Drop another 777 inches. The comments if you know this truth is for you. Let the universe see you claiming your victory. Your victory isn't just personal, it's a beacon. Your life is a testimony that speaks louder than words. When you walked through that fire and came out whole, you showed the world what's possible. You showed others they don't have to stay stuck. Your story is a living sermon, preaching hope to those still in their own storms. You didn't just pass a test, you became a light for others to follow. That's the power of a chosen one. Your life doesn't just belong to you. It belongs to everyone who sees it and finds courage. Think about Moses. He faced tests that seemed insurmountable, leading a nation through a wilderness, standing before Pharaoh, trusting God when the Red Sea loomed ahead. Each test wasn't just about him, it was about the millions who would follow. Your tests are the same. Every time you overcame, you carved a path for others. Your faith, your grit, your refusal to quit, it's not just for you. It's for every soul watching, wondering if they can make it. You're proof they can. Now, here's where it gets exciting. Passing the test wasn't the end, it was the beginning. God doesn't test you to leave you where you are. He tests you to prepare you for what's coming. And what's coming? Blessings so big they'll make your head spin. Doors you didn't even know existed are swinging open. Opportunities, connections, abundance. It's all lined up, waiting for you to step into it. You passed the test, and now the reward is yours. Not because you earned it, but because God promised it. If this is resonating, if you feel the weight of this truth settling in your spirit, drop a 777 inches the comments one more time. Let it be your declaration that you're ready for the next chapter. And if you want to walk this journey with a community of chosen ones, hit that subscribe button. Join thousands of souls who are stepping into their divine purpose. Your action today is a step toward the future God has already written for you. Let's talk about what's waiting. The tests you passed weren't just about proving yourself, they were about unlocking your capacity. Every challenge stretched you, made you bigger, stronger, ready to hold the blessings God has in store. You're not the same person you were before the storm. You're a vessel now, capable of carrying wealth, influence, and impact beyond what you ever imagined. The hard part is over. Now it's time to receive. Picture Esther. She faced a test that could have cost her life, standing before a king to save her people. But she didn't just pass. She stepped into a role that changed history. Your tests have done the same. They've positioned you for a moment where your voice, your presence, your purpose will shift things, not just for you, but for everyone around you. The wealth coming your way isn't just money. It's influence, peace, joy, and a legacy that will outlast you. You might feel like you're still in the wilderness, like the blessings are far off, but hear this. The moment you passed the test, the tide turned. God's timing is perfect. He's not late. The seeds you planted in faith, in tears, in sleepless nights, they're sprouting. You're about to walk into a season where the impossible becomes your reality, where lack turns to overflow, where pain turns to purpose. You didn't just survive the test, you became a masterpiece. Your story isn't over, it's just beginning. The tests were the foundation, but what's being built now is a life that radiates God's glory. You're not just a survivor, you're a conqueror. Every step you take now is on ground God has already prepared. The world will see it. Your family will see it. Even your enemies will see it. You passed the hardest test, and now the heavens are opening to pour out what's yours. Let's talk about the cost of your victory. It wasn't cheap. You paid in tears, in moments of doubt, in nights when you wondered if God was even there. But every sacrifice was an investment. Every moment you chose to keep going was a deposit into a future that's now unfolding. You didn't see it then, but God was watching. He saw every choice you made to stay true, to stay kind, to stay faithful. And He's about to repay you in ways that will leave you speechless. Drop one final 777 inches, the comments, if you're ready to step into this new season. Let it be your signal to the heavens that you're claiming what God has promised. Your tests weren't the end, they were the setup. The hardest battles forged the strongest warrior. You didn't just pass, you passed in a way that made God smile. And now, chosen one, it's time to rise. The world might not understand what's happening in you right now. They see the surface, the struggles, the scars, but they don't see what God sees. They don't see the fire in your spirit, the light in your soul, the destiny written across your life. You passed the test not because you were perfect, but because you were persistent. You kept going when everything screamed, "Stop." That's what makes you a chosen one. Think about David, a shepherd boy, overlooked by his own family, facing a giant no one else dared to challenge. His test wasn't just Goliath, it was years of being underestimated, ignored, attacked, but every step prepared him for a throne. Your tests have done the same. Every moment you thought you were alone, God was shaping you for a crown. You're not just ready, you're anointed for what's next. Now, let's get practical. Passing the test means you're ready to walk in purpose. But purpose isn't passive, it's active. It's showing up every day, trusting God's plan, even when you can't see the full picture. It's saying yes to opportunities that scare you. It's letting go of relationships that hold you back. It's believing that the wealth, spiritual, emotional, financial, is already yours. You passed the test. Now it's time to claim the prize. Your victory has a ripple effect. Every time you chose faith, you sent waves through the spiritual realm. You didn't just change your life, you shifted the atmosphere. People around you feel it. They see something different in you, even if they can't name it. Your presence carries authority now, not because you demand it, but because God placed it on you. You're not just walking through life, you're changing it. Let's talk about the enemy for a moment. The forces that tried to stop you, they failed. The doubts, the fears, the obstacles, they couldn't break you. Why? Because you were never fighting alone. God was your shield, your strength, your guide. Every time you thought you'd fall, He lifted you. Every time you felt weak, He gave you power. You passed the test because God was with you, and He's still with you now. Your life is a story of triumph, not because you avoided pain, but because you walked through it. You didn't let it define you. You let it refine you. The world might see a survivor, but God sees a warrior. He sees someone who faced the hardest test and didn't just pass past with a heart full of faith. That's why the blessings are coming. That's why the doors are opening. That's why your name is written in the heavens. Now, here's the truth. The tests didn't just prepare you, they revealed you. They showed you who you really are. Not the version the world tried to label you. Not the version doubt tried to define. The real you, the chosen one. The one God created for a purpose so big it scares you sometimes. But you're ready now. You've proven it. The tests were your training ground, and now the world is your stage. Think about Job. He lost everything, family, wealth, health. Yet he didn't curse God. He held fast, and in the end, God restored him double. Your story is no different. The losses you faced, They weren't the end. They were the setup for a comeback so big, it'll shake the foundations of everything around you. You passed the test, and now the restoration is here. Get ready. Your faith is your superpower. It's what carried you through the storm. It's what made you different. When others gave up, you prayed. When others turned bitter, you trusted. That faith is why you're standing here now, ready for a season of overflow. It's not just about surviving, it's about thriving. God didn't bring you this far to leave you. He brought you here to show the world what a chosen one can do. Let's talk about what's next. The tests were the foundation, but the blessings are the house. Every promise God made is about to come to life. Financial breakthroughs, they're coming. Divine connections, they're on the way. Peace that surpasses understanding, it's already yours. You passed the hardest test, and now the heavens are aligning to pour out what you've been waiting for. Step into it with boldness. Your life is a testament to God's faithfulness. Every step you took, every choice you made, every moment you refused to quit it, all pointed to this. You're not just a survivor of the test, you're a carrier of God's glory. The world will see it. Your family will see it. Your future will reflect it. You passed the right way, and now the reward is yours. Claim it. The tests you faced weren't just about you, they were about the generations after you. Your victory is breaking chains. Your faith is planting seeds. Your story is rewriting histories. When you chose to keep going, you didn't just save yourself, you paved the way for others. Your life is a legacy, chosen one. It's bigger than you know. Now, let's talk about the shift. You're not in the test anymore. You're in the harvest. The season of struggle is over, and the season of abundance is here. You passed the test, not by your strength, but by God's grace. And that grace is about to show up in ways that will leave you in awe. Doors you didn't knock on are opening. Blessings you didn't expect are coming. This is your time. Think about Daniel in the lion's den. The test wasn't just the lions, it was the faith to stand firm when death was certain. He passed, not by fighting, but by trusting. And God didn't just save him, He elevated him. Your tests have elevated you too. You're not just standing, you're soaring. The world will see a new version of you, one forged in fire and anointed for greatness. You might still feel the weight of the past, the memories of the struggle, the pain, the doubt, they linger. But hear this, those things don't define you anymore. They're shadows, and you're walking in light. God didn't bring you through the test to leave you haunted. He brought you through to set you free. Let go of the old. Step into the new. You're not who you were. You're who God says you are. Your victory is a signal to the heavens. It's a declaration that God's promises are true. You didn't just pass the test, you proved His word. And now, He's proving His faithfulness. The wealth, the peace, the purpose, it's all coming together. You're not waiting for the breakthrough anymore, you're living it. Every step you take now is on holy ground, marked by divine favor. Let's talk about the enemy again. The forces that tried to stop you, they're watching now. They see you rising. They see the light you carry. They see the favor on your life, and they can't touch you. Why? Because you passed the test. You stood firm when they thought you'd fall. You trusted God when they thought you'd curse Him. Your victory is their defeat, and your life is their reminder that God always wins. Your story is a miracle in motion. Every test you passed was a step toward a destiny so bright it blinds the darkness. You didn't just overcome, you became. You became the person God always knew you could be, the person He created you to be. And now, the world is about to see it. Your life is a canvas, and God is painting a masterpiece. Let's talk about the future. It's not just bright, it's blinding. The tests were the soil. Now the harvest is here. You're stepping into a season where everything aligns. Your finances, your relationships, your health, they're all coming into divine order. You passed the test, and now God is showing you what He can do with a heart that trusts Him. Get ready for overflow. You're not just a chosen one, you're a catalyst. Your life is sparking change. Your faith is igniting hope. Your victory is inspiring others. When you passed the test, you didn't just win for yourself. You won for everyone watching. Your story is a fire that spreads, lighting up the darkness for those still finding their way. You're not just living, you're leading. Think about Ruth. Her test was loss, loneliness, a future that looked empty, but she chose faith, she chose loyalty, and God didn't just provide, He gave her a legacy. Your tests have given you a legacy too. Every step you took in faith was a brick in a foundation that will stand for generations. You're not just building a life, you're building a monument to God's faithfulness. Now, here's the call. You passed the test, but the journey isn't over. It's time to walk in the fullness of what God has for you. Say yes to the opportunities. Say yes to the dreams. Say yes to the purpose. You're not here to play small. You're here to shine. The tests proved you're ready. Now, it's time to step into the promise. Your victory isn't quiet. It's loud. It's a shout to the heavens, a declaration to the earth. You passed the hardest test, and now the world will know what God can do with a heart that refuses to quit. Your life is a testimony, a living proof that faith wins, that God delivers, that the chosen ones rise. Step into it, chosen one. The best is yet to come. Chosen ones, your victory over the hardest test wasn't just a moment, it was a transformation. You didn't just walk through fire, you became the flame. God saw your heart, your resolve, your refusal to let the storm define you. And He marked you for a purpose that echoes beyond this lifetime. The tests you faced were not meant to dim your light, but to make it blaze brighter, to show the world a soul forged in faith, unbreakable and radiant. Now, as you stand on the other side, the heavens are aligning to pour out favor that matches the weight of your endurance. Every test you passed was a key, not to a single door, but to a city of doors. Each one you unlocked revealed more of who you are, someone chosen not just to survive, but to shape destinies. The pain, the betrayal, the nights when hope felt like a whisper, they weren't punishments. They were invitations to step into a version of yourself the world hasn't seen yet. You answered that call, not with complaints, but with courage. That's why God is moving mountains for you now. Your journey wasn't about proving yourself to others. It was about proving to yourself what God already knew. You are unstoppable. When the world doubted you, when voices whispered you weren't enough, you kept walking. That's not just grit, that's grace. It's the kind of faith that turns deserts into rivers. Your tests weren't random. They were divine assignments, each one teaching you to trust God's voice over the noise of fear. And you listened, you obeyed, you rose. Let's talk about the shift in your spirit. Passing the hardest test didn't just change your circumstances, it changed you. You carry a quiet strength now, a certainty that no storm can shake. People notice it. They see it in your eyes, in the way you move, in the peace that surrounds you. It's not loud or boastful, it's steady. It's the kind of presence that makes others pause and wonder what kind of power you're walking in. That power, it's God's fingerprint on your soul. Think about Abraham. He faced a test no one could fathom, sacrificing his son, his promise, his future. But he didn't waver. He trusted God's plan, even when it made no sense. And God didn't just honor his faith, he made him the father of nations. Your tests were your altar, and your faith was your offering. Now, God is building something through you that will outlast time itself. Your life is becoming a legacy, a testament to what happens when a chosen one trusts completely. The world might not see it yet, but you're not the same. The tests stripped away what didn't belong: doubt, fear, small thinking. What's left is pure, unshakable purpose. You're not just walking through life, you're carving a path. Every step you take now is charged with divine energy, pulling you toward a future that's bigger than your dreams. The tests didn't limit you, they expanded you, making room for blessings that overflow. Your victory is a signal to the spiritual realm. When you passed the test, you didn't just win a battle, you shifted the balance. Forces that tried to hold you back are retreating. Doors that were sealed are cracking open. The enemy thought they could outlast you, but they didn't count on your faith. You didn't just endure, you overcame. And now, the heavens are responding, aligning resources, people, and opportunities to match your obedience. Let's talk about the harvest. You sowed in tears, in faith, in moments when giving up would have been easier. Now, the ground is breaking open. The seeds you planted are sprouting into blessings you can't contain. Financial freedom? It's coming. Relationships that lift you up? They're on the way. Health that defies the odds? It's yours. You passed the test, and God is faithful to his promises. The harvest isn't a hope, it's a guarantee. Your story isn't just yours, it's a bridge. Every test you passed built a pathway for others to cross. Your faith, your courage, your refusal to quit, it's not just for you. It's for the person watching you, wondering if they can make it. It's for the child who'll inherit your legacy. It's for the stranger who'll hear your story and find hope. You're not just a chosen one, you're a chain breaker, a light bearer, a waymaker. Think about Noah. The world laughed at him, building an ark in a desert. But he kept going, trusting God's word over human logic. When the floods came, his faith didn't just save him, it saved the future. Your tests were your ark, and your faith is saving more than you know. Every act of obedience, every moment you chose God over the world, was a plank in a vessel that's carrying others to safety. You're not just surviving, you're saving. Now, let's talk about your heart. The tests didn't harden it, they softened it. Where others grew bitter, you grew compassionate. Where others closed off, you opened up. That's what makes you different. That's what makes you chosen. Your heart, refined by fire, is now a vessel for God's love. It's why people are drawn to you, why they feel safe around you, why your presence feels like home. You passed the test, and your heart is proof. The tests taught you something else: patience. You learned to wait on God's timing, to trust his process, even when it felt endless. That patience isn't weakness, it's power. It's the kind that lets you stand firm when the world rushes you to panic. It's the kind that knows the promise is coming, even when the world says it's too late. Your patience is a weapon, and it's about to pay off in ways you can't imagine. Your victory is a declaration. It says to the world, to the enemy, to every doubt that tried to stop you, God's word is true. You didn't just pass the test, you proved it. You proved that faith is stronger than fear, that love is greater than hate, that God's plan is bigger than any obstacle. Now, the world is watching, waiting to see what a chosen one does with that kind of power, and you're about to show them. Let's talk about the doors. They're not just opening, they're swinging wide. Opportunities you didn't chase are finding you. Connections you didn't seek are forming. Blessings you didn't expect are landing in your lap. Why? Because you passed the test. You showed God you could handle the weight of His calling. Now, He's trusting you with the reward. Step through those doors with boldness. They're yours. Think about Peter. He faced tests of faith, denying Jesus, doubting on the water, wrestling with his own flaws. But every test shaped him into the rock on which God built His church. Your tests have shaped you too. They've made you a foundation, a cornerstone for something eternal. You're not just standing, you're building. Your life is becoming a structure that others will lean on for generations. Your victory isn't loud in the way the world expects. It's not about fame or flash. It's quiet, steady, profound. It's the kind of victory that changes things without shouting. Your presence alone shifts rooms, calms storms, inspires hope. You pass the test, not by overpowering, but by overcoming. That's the kind of power that lasts, the kind that transforms without force. Now, let's talk about the lies you left behind. The tests exposed them, lies that said you weren't enough, that you'd never make it, that God had forgotten you. You didn't just survive those lies, you shattered them. Every step you took in faith was a hammer to their foundation. Now, you walk in truth. You know who you are. You know whose you are. And no lie can hold you back. Your tests were a classroom. They taught you wisdom, not just strength. You learned to see people's hearts, to hear God's voice, to trust your instincts. That wisdom is your currency now. It's what will guide you through the doors God's opening. It's what will keep you steady when the blessings pour in. You're not just rich in faith. You're rich in understanding, and that's worth more than gold. Let's talk about the weight you carried. The tests weren't light. They pressed you, stretched you, sometimes crushed you. But they also lifted you. They showed you a strength you didn't know you had. They revealed a God who never left your side. That weight wasn't meant to bury you. It was meant to build you. Now, you stand taller, not because the weight is gone, but because you learned to carry it with grace. Think about Hannah. Her test was years of barrenness, of longing, of unanswered prayers, but she didn't give up. She prayed, she trusted, and God gave her Samuel, a son who changed a nation. Your tests were your barren years, but your prayers were heard. Your Samuel is coming, your promise, your breakthrough, your legacy. You passed the test, and the answer is on its way. Your victory is a song. It's not one the world can hear, but the heavens are singing it. Every time you chose faith, you added a note. Every time you refused to quit, you wrote a verse. Now, that song is echoing through eternity, a melody of triumph that declares God's faithfulness. You're not just living a life, you're composing a symphony, and the world is about to hear it. Let's talk about the vision. The tests gave you eyes to see what others miss. You see possibilities where others see walls. You see purpose where others see pain. That vision is your gift now. It's what will lead you to the places God has prepared. It's what will show you the path when others are lost. You passed the test, and now your eyes are open to a future that shines with promise. Your heart is a compass. Through every test, it stayed pointed toward God. When the world pulled you one way, when fear tried to drag you down, your heart stayed true. That's why you're here now, standing in victory. That's why the blessings are coming. Your heart didn't just guide you through the storm, it guided you to the promise. Trust it now. It knows the way. Let's talk about the mantle. Passing the test wasn't just about surviving, it was about receiving. You've been given a mantle, a calling, a responsibility to carry God's light into the world. It's not heavy, it's holy. It's what makes you different. It's what makes you chosen. You didn't just pass the test. You earned the right to wear this mantle, and it fits you perfectly. Think about Elijah. His tests were fierce, facing kings, calling down fire, standing alone against a nation. But every test prepared him to pass his mantle to Elisha. Your tests have prepared you to pass something on too, not just to one person, but to a generation. Your victory is a gift you'll give to others, a spark that will light countless flames. You're not just a chosen one, you're a fire starter. Your life is a mirror now. It reflects God's glory, His faithfulness, His power. When people look at you, they don't just see you, they see Him. They see what happens when someone trusts God through the hardest tests. They see what's possible when faith doesn't waver. Your life is proof that God keeps His promises, and that proof will change more lives than you can count. Let's talk about the freedom. Passing the test didn't just break chains, it gave you wings. You're not bound by the past anymore, not by fear, not by doubt, not by what others think. You're free to step into the fullness of who God created you to be. That freedom is your power now. It's what lets you dream bigger, love deeper, live bolder. You passed the test, and now you're flying. Your victory is a seed. It's planted in the hearts of everyone who hears your story. It's growing in the lives of those who see your faith. It's taking root in places you'll never visit, in people you'll never meet. You didn't just pass the test, you started a movement. Your life is a catalyst for hope, for change, for miracles. And it's only just begun. Let's talk about the promise. God didn't test you to tease you. He tested you to trust you. Every promise He made, abundance, peace, purpose, is yours now. You proved you could handle the test, and now He's proving He can handle the reward. Get ready, chosen one. The floodgates are opening. The blessings are coming. And they're bigger than anything you've ever seen. Chosen ones, the tests you passed didn't just forge your strength, they carved your name into eternity. You walked through valleys where others would have stumbled, and you emerged not just whole, but holy. God didn't choose you because you were perfect. He chose you because you were willing. Willing to trust when the path was dark. Willing to stand when the ground shook. Willing to believe when the world screamed doubt. That willingness is your crown, and it's shining brighter than ever. Your journey through the hardest tests wasn't about earning God's favor, it was about discovering it. Every step you took, every choice to keep going, was a revelation of His presence. You didn't see it in the moment, but He was there, guiding, lifting, sustaining. The tests weren't walls, they were windows, showing you a glimpse of the divine power that lives in you. Now, as you stand in victory, those windows are wide open, flooding your life with light. Let's talk about the residue of the storm. The tests left marks, scars, memories, moments that still whisper in quiet hours. But those aren't chains, they're stories. Each one tells of a time you faced the impossible and won. They're not there to haunt you, they're there to remind you. You're not the person who entered the storm. You're the one who walked out, stronger, wiser, carrying a fire that no darkness can touch. Think about Paul, shipwrecked, beaten, imprisoned. His tests were relentless. Yet he wrote letters of hope from chains, turning suffering into scripture. Your tests are your letters, written not in ink, but in faith. They're a message to the world that God's strength shows up best in weakness. Your life is a living epistle, read by everyone who sees your resilience, your joy, your unshakable trust. Your victory reshaped the battlefield. The forces that came against you didn't just lose, they were exposed. Their plans, their lies, their attempts to dim your light, they crumbled. You didn't fight with weapons, You fought with truth, and truth doesn't just win, it transforms. The spiritual realm felt the shift when you passed the test. Now, every step you take carries the authority of someone who's walked through fire and come out gold. Let's talk about the rhythm of your life now. There's a new cadence to your days, a flow that wasn't there before. The tests taught you to move with God's timing, to dance with His purpose. Where you once stumbled, you now glide. Where you once questioned, you now trust. This rhythm is your gift, a harmony that aligns you with blessings that are already on their way. You're not chasing them, they're chasing you. Your faith didn't just carry you through the tests, it built a bridge, not just for you, but for others. Every time you chose to believe, you laid a plank for someone else to cross. Your victory isn't private, it's public. It's a pathway for the weary, the broken, the hopeless. Your life says, if I made it, you can too. You're not just a chosen one, you're a guide, leading others to their own triumph. Think about Deborah, a prophetess, a judge, a warrior in a time when women were overlooked. Her test was to lead a nation against impossible odds. She didn't flinch. She spoke God's word, rallied His people, and won. Your tests have made you a Deborah, someone who speaks truth, inspires courage, and leads others to victory. Your voice carries weight now, and it's calling others to rise. Let's talk about the overflow. The tests stretched you, not to break you, but to make you a vessel for more. More peace, more joy, more abundance than you thought possible. You're not meant to hold just enough, you're meant to hold an overflow. God didn't bring you through the fire to leave you empty. He brought you through to fill you until you spill over, blessing everyone around you. That's the life of a chosen one. Your victory is a magnet. It's drawing people, opportunities, resources to you, not because you chased them, but because you trusted. The tests taught you to let go of control, to stop striving, to rest in God's plan. Now, that trust is pulling in everything you need. Divine connections are forming. Financial breakthroughs are knocking. Doors you didn't even see are opening wide. You passed the test, and the universe is responding. Let's talk about the clarity you've gained. The tests didn't just strengthen you, they sharpened you. You see things now that others miss. You hear God's voice where others hear noise. You sense opportunities where others see obstacles. That clarity is your edge. It's what sets you apart in a world full of confusion. Use it. Trust it. It's God's gift to guide you into the next season. Think about John the Baptist. His test was a life of solitude, preaching in the wilderness, preparing the way for Jesus. He didn't seek crowds or comfort, he sought God's purpose. And when the time came, he recognized the Messiah when others didn't. Your tests have given you that same vision. You see what's coming, you know what's true, and you're ready to step into it with confidence. Your life is a signal fire. It burns bright, cutting through the free fog of fear and doubt. People are drawn to it, even if they don't understand why. Your victory over the hardest test didn't just change you, it changed the atmosphere. You carry a presence now that shifts rooms, calms hearts, ignites hope. You're not just living, you're radiating. And that radiance is calling others to wake up. Let's talk about the roots you've grown. The tests didn't just build your strength, they planted you deep. You're not swayed by every wind now. You're not shaken by every storm. Your faith is anchored, your purpose is grounded. That's why the blessings coming your way won't topple you. You're rooted in God's truth, and no force can uproot what He's planted. Your victory is a conversation with the heavens. Every test you passed was a dialogue between you and God. You spoke faith. He answered with strength. You spoke trust. He answered with provision. Now, that conversation is turning into a celebration. The heavens are rejoicing over you, chosen one. Your name is known, your faith is seen, and your reward is coming. Think about Mary. Her test was to carry a promise no one understood, to face shame and doubt for God's plan. But she said yes. She trusted. And her yes changed the world. Your tests were your yes, your willingness to trust God when nothing made sense. Now, like Mary, you're carrying a promise that will shift everything. Your life is pregnant with purpose, and it's about to give birth. Let's talk about the armor you wear now. It's not made of steel, it's made of faith, forged in the tests you passed. It's invisible to the world, but impenetrable to the enemy. Every attack that came against you only made it stronger. You're not just protected, you're untouchable. The forces that tried to break you now bow to the power God placed in you. Walk in that armor. It's yours. Your victory rewrote the rules. The world says tests break you. God says tests make you. The world says pain is the end. God says pain is the beginning. You didn't just pass the test, you changed the game. You showed what's possible when a soul trusts God completely. Now, the rules don't apply to you. You're not bound by limits. You're free to live the life God promised. Let's talk about the echo of your faith. Every choice you made to keep going sent a sound wave through eternity. It's still ringing, reaching places you'll never see, touching lives you'll never know. Your tests weren't just battles, they were declarations. They said, God is faithful. They said, faith wins. And that echo is drawing blessings to you like a magnet draws iron. Think about Jonah. His test was a whale, a storm, a call he tried to run from. But God didn't let him go. The test wasn't punishment, it was pursuit. God chased him down with love, with purpose, with a mission that saved a city. Your tests were God's pursuit of you. He didn't let you go because he knew what you could become. And now, you're becoming it. Your life is a canvas now, painted with the colors of victory. Every test added a stroke: grit, faith, hope, love. The world sees the picture, but only you and God know the story behind it. That story is your power. It's what makes your life a masterpiece, not because it's perfect, but because it's real. You passed the test, and now the canvas is glowing with God's glory. Let's talk about the weight of your calling. It's not heavy, it's holy. The tests didn't burden you, they prepared you to carry something bigger. You're not just holding your own dreams now, you're holding God's vision. It's why the blessings are so big. It's why the doors are so wide. You're not just living for you, you're living for a purpose that will outlast you. Your victory is a light in the darkness. It's not just for you, it's for the world. The tests taught you to shine, not to hide. You're not meant to dim your light to fit in. You're meant to blaze so brightly that others find their way. Your life is a lighthouse, guiding ships through storms, showing them there's hope on the other side. You passed the test, and now you're leading. Let's talk about the promises waiting. They're not distant, they're here. The tests were the gate, and you've walked through it. Financial abundance, it's yours. Divine connections, they're forming. Peace that holds you steady, it's already in you. You didn't just pass the test, you unlocked the vault. Now God's pouring out what he's been holding for you. Step into it. It's time. Chosen ones. The tests you conquered didn't just mark your victory, they ignited a spark that's now a wildfire. Your faith, tested in the crucible of hardship, didn't just hold, it burned brighter, setting ablaze a path for others to follow. You didn't just pass the test, You became a flame that no storm could extinguish. God saw your heart, unwavering through the chaos, and He's fanning that flame into a destiny that will light up the world. Your journey through the fire taught you to see beyond the smoke. Where others saw only destruction, you saw purpose. Where others saw dead ends, you saw divine detours. That vision is your strength now. It's what lets you navigate a world full of confusion with a clarity that cuts through like a blade. You're not just moving forward, you're leading, showing others what it looks like to walk with God's guidance. Let's talk about the weight of your presence. The tests didn't just shape you, they gave you a gravity that pulls others in. People feel it when you're near, even if they can't explain it. Your peace, your strength, your quiet confidence, it's magnetic. You're not just a person anymore, you're a force. The tests forged you into someone whose very existence shifts the atmosphere, drawing others toward hope. Think about Nehemiah. His test was a broken city, a people without hope and enemies at every turn. Yet he rebuilt the walls, not with strength alone, but with faith that rallied a nation. Your tests were your broken walls, and your faith is rebuilding something greater. You're not just restoring your life, you're restoring hope for those who've lost it. Your victory is a blueprint for others to rebuild. Your faith didn't just carry you through, it carved a riverbed. Now, blessings are flowing through it, unstoppable and abundant. The tests deepened your capacity to receive, to hold more than you ever thought possible. You're not just standing in the stream, you're the channel through which God's promises pour. Wealth, peace, purpose, it's all flowing now, and you're ready to carry it without sinking. Let's talk about the silence you learned. In the hardest moments, when the world was loud with doubt, you found a quiet trust. That silence wasn't weakness, it was wisdom. It was where you heard God's voice clearest, where you found strength to keep going. Now, that silence is your sanctuary. It's where you'll find the answers for the next season, where you'll hear the whispers of divine direction. Your victory is a tapestry woven with threads of faith, pain, and triumph. Each test added a color, each choice a pattern. The world sees the beauty, but only you know the story behind it. That tapestry isn't just yours, it's a gift to those who come after you. It tells them that every struggle has purpose, every tear a place, every victory a reason. You're not just living, you're weaving a legacy. Think about Rahab. Her test was a life of shame, a city doomed to fall. Yet she chose faith, hiding spies and trusting God's plan. Her choice didn't just save her, it made her part of Jesus' lineage. Your tests were your Jericho, and your faith made you part of something eternal. You're not just a survivor, you're a cornerstone in God's story, holding up a promise for generations. Let's talk about the strength in your bones. The tests didn't just build your spirit, they fortified your very being. You stand taller now, not because you're proud, but because you're rooted. The storms that tried to break you only made you unshakable. That strength is your foundation, and it's what will carry you into the blessings God has prepared. You're not just ready, you're built for this. Your victory is a compass for others. People are watching, not just to see what you do, but to find their own way. Your faith, tested and proven, is a map for those lost in their own trials. You don't have to shout your story, it speaks for itself. Every step you take now is a direction for someone else, a sign that says, keep going. God is faithful. You're not just a chosen one, you're a guidepost. Let's talk about the fragrance of your faith. It's not something you see, but something others feel. The tests refined you, not just in strength, but in spirit, leaving a scent of hope that lingers. People are drawn to it, even if they don't know why. Your presence carries the aroma of God's promises, a reminder that victory is possible. You're not just walking, you're leaving a trail of inspiration. Think about Lazarus. His test was death itself, a tomb that seemed final. But Jesus called him out, and he walked. Your tests were your tomb, and God's voice called you forward. You didn't just survive, you rose. Now, your life is a resurrection story, proof that God can bring life to what seemed dead. You're not just alive, you're a miracle, showing others what's possible. Your victory is a sound wave. It's not just felt, it's heard. Every test you passed sent a note into the spiritual realm, a chord of faith that resonates. That sound is drawing blessings to you, aligning opportunities, shifting circumstances. You didn't just overcome, you created a symphony, and the heavens are singing along. Your life is music now, and it's calling others to dance. Let's talk about the space you hold. The tests taught you to stand firm, not just for yourself, but for others. You're a sanctuary now, a place where people find peace, hope, strength. Your victory isn't just a moment, it's a ministry. You're not just holding ground, you're holding space for God's love to flow through. That's what makes you chosen. That's what makes you powerful. Your faith is a flame that doesn't flicker. The tests tried to snuff it out, but they only made it burn hotter. Now, that flame is lighting up paths you didn't even know existed. It's guiding you to places of purpose, to moments of impact, to blessings that overflow. You're not just carrying light, you're blazing it. And nothing can dim what God has ignited. Think about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Their test was a furnace, a fire meant to destroy. But they walked out, not just unharmed, but untouched, with God by their side. Your tests were your furnace, and you didn't just survive, you walked out with divine company. Your life is proof that God walks with his chosen, and no fire can consume what he protects. Let's talk about the keys you've been given. Each test unlocked something, a door, a gift, a promise. You're not just holding keys, you're opening kingdoms. The tests taught you how to use them, how to turn faith into access. Now, those keys are yours to wield, opening doors to wealth, wisdom, and purpose. You're not just standing at the gate, you're walking through. Your victory is a declaration to the unseen. The spiritual forces that watched you fight, that saw you stand, are now bowing to God's power in you. You didn't just pass the test, you shifted the balance of eternity. Your faith rewrote the story, not just for you, but for the heavens. You're not just a chosen one, you're a warrior whose victory echoes beyond time. Let's talk about the rhythm of your heart. The tests synced it with God's. Every beat now carries his purpose, his peace, his promise. You're not just living, you're aligned. That alignment is why blessings are finding you, why doors are opening, why your life feels different. You passed the test, and now your heart beats with divine timing, guiding you to what's next. Think about Miriam. Her test was to lead in the shadow of Moses, to trust God through slavery and Exodus. She danced when the Red Sea parted, not because the fight was over, but because she saw God's hand. Your tests were your exodus, and your victory is your dance. You're not just free, you're celebrating, showing others what freedom looks like. Your life is a prism now. The tests broke you open, not to destroy, but to refract God's light. Every angle of your story, pain, faith, triumph, casts a different color, a different truth. People see it and marvel. They don't just see you, they see him. You're not just living, you're reflecting, showing the world the spectrum of God's glory. Let's talk about the strength of your roots. The tests didn't uproot you, they planted you deeper. Your faith is anchored now, unshaken by storms, That depth is your power. It's why you can stand when others fall, why you can trust when others doubt. You're not just grounded, you're immovable, a tree whose branches reach the heavens and whose roots touch eternity. Your victory is a spark in the dark. It's not just for you, it's for the world. The tests taught you to shine, not to hide. You're meant to blaze so brightly that others find their way. Your life is a beacon, guiding ships through storms, showing them there's hope on the other side. You passed the test, and now you're leading, lighting the path for others, chosen ones. Your triumph over the hardest tests didn't just mark you as a survivor, it crowned you as a creator. The storms you faced were not meant to tear you down, but to awaken the divine architect within you. Every trial was a chisel, shaping you into someone who doesn't just endure but builds. You're crafting a life, a legacy, a vision that reflects God's glory. Your victory is a blueprint, and the world is watching as you lay the foundation for something eternal. The tests taught you to see with God's eyes. Where others saw ruin, you saw restoration. Where others saw loss, you saw opportunity. This vision isn't just a gift, it's a responsibility. You're not here to follow the world's map. You're here to draw a new one. Your faith, proven in the fire, is now a compass, guiding you to places others can't even imagine. You're not just walking, you're charting a course for miracles. Let's talk about the pulse of your purpose. The tests synced your heartbeat with God's plan, giving your life a rhythm that resonates with destiny. Every choice you made to trust, to stand, to believe, it set a tempo that's now drawing blessings to you. This pulse is your power. It's why you move with confidence, why opportunities find you, why your presence feels like a melody. You're not just living, you're in tune with eternity. Think about Jeremiah. His test was to speak truth to a nation that didn't want to hear it, to prophesy through tears and rejection. Yet his words didn't just survive, they shaped history. Your tests were your prophecies, spoken not in words but in faith. Every step you took declared God's promises. Now, those declarations are coming to life, building a future that echoes His truth. Your victory is a current. It flows through you, charging everything you touch with divine energy. The tests didn't drain you, they electrified you. People feel it when they're near you. A spark that ignites hope, stirs faith, awakens purpose. You're not just a person, you're a conduit, carrying God's power into a world that needs it. Your life is a circuit, and the tests completed the connection. Let's talk about the mantle you carry. It's not just a calling, it's a commission. The tests prepared you to wear it, not as a burden, but as a badge. This mantle marks you as one who speaks for God, who moves for God, who lives for God. It's why your words carry weight, why your actions shift things. You're not just chosen, you're appointed, and the world is starting to see it. Your faith is a river now. The tests carved its path, and now it flows freely, nourishing everything in its reach. It's not just for you, it's for others. Your victory waters dry places, brings life to barren ground. People are drawn to it, finding refreshment in your story, strength in your journey. You're not just surviving, you're sustaining, a source of hope for those who thirst. Think about Elizabeth. Her test was years of waiting, of barrenness, of unanswered prayers. Yet she carried John, a prophet who prepared the way. Your tests were your waiting, your preparation for a purpose that's now unfolding. You're not just carrying your own promise, you're carrying something that will prepare the way for others. Your life is a herald announcing God's faithfulness. Let's talk about the gravity of your faith. It pulls people in, not by force, but by truth. The tests taught you to stand so firmly that others orbit around you. They're drawn to your certainty, your peace, your unshakable trust. You're not just a light, you're a center, holding space for God's love to move through. Your victory isn't just yours, it's a force that steadies others. Your triumph rewrote the story. The world expected you to break, to crumble, to fade, but you didn't. You rewrote the narrative, not with words, but with choices. Every time you chose faith over fear, you turned a page. Now, your life is a book, read by those who need to know that victory is possible. You're not just a character, you're the author, writing hope with every step. Let's talk about the sound of your soul. The tests tuned it, giving you a voice that carries across realms. When you speak, the heavens listen. When you pray, the earth shifts. Your faith, proven in the fire, has a resonance that moves mountains. You're not just speaking, you're declaring, and your declarations are shaping the future. That's the power of a chosen one. Think about Gideon. His test was to lead an army with impossible odds, to trust God when logic said defeat was certain. Yet he won, not by numbers, but by faith. Your tests were your impossible odds, and your faith was your victory. Now, you're leading, not with an army, but with a life that shows others what God can do. You're not just a warrior, you're a witness. Your victory is a mirror to the divine. It reflects God's power, His love, His promise. The tests polished it, making it clear, unbreakable. When people look at you, they see more than your story, they see Him. Your life is a reflection, not of perfection, but of persistence. You passed the test, and now you're a living image of God's faithfulness, shining for all to see. Let's talk about the doors you're unlocking. The tests gave you keys, faith, wisdom, courage, and now they're opening paths you didn't see before. Each door leads to a new season, a new blessing, a new purpose. You're not just standing at the threshold, you're stepping through into a future where abundance isn't a dream, but a reality. The keys are in your hand, and the doors are yours. Your faith is a flame that lights other fires. The tests didn't consume it, they fueled it. Now, your life sparks others, igniting their hope, their courage, their trust. You're not just carrying light, you're spreading it, setting hearts ablaze with the truth that God is faithful. Your victory isn't just personal, it's a movement, waking up souls across the earth. Think about Anna. Her test was a life of waiting, praying, fasting in the temple for a promise she couldn't see. Yet when Jesus arrived, she recognized Him, proclaiming His coming. Your tests were your temple, your waiting, your faith. Now, you're seeing the promise, and your life is proclaiming it to others. You're not just a believer, you're a prophet of hope. Let's talk about the strength in your silence. The tests taught you to listen, not to the world's noise, but to God's whisper. That silence is your power now. It's where you find clarity, where you hear direction, where you feel His presence. You're not just quiet, you're centered, grounded in a peace that guides you through every decision. That's the mark of a chosen one. Your victory is a tide. It's rising, lifting everything around you. The tests were the waves that shaped you, and now you're the current, moving people, circumstances, destinies. You're not just in the flow, you're the flow, carrying God's promises to places they've never reached. Your life is a force, and it's changing the landscape of the world. Let's talk about the armor of your faith. It's not visible, but it's unbreakable. The tests forged it, layer by layer, until no weapon could pierce it. You're not just protected, you're invincible, not by your own strength, but by God's. The enemy sees it now. The world feels it, and you know it. You're not just standing, you're shielded, ready for whatever comes next. Think about Stephen. His test was to speak truth in the face of death, to shine even as stones fell. His faith didn't waver, and his vision of heaven changed lives. Your tests were your stones, and your faith is your vision. You're not just surviving, you're seeing, showing others the glory that awaits. Your life is a testimony, and it's speaking louder than words. Your victory is a seedbed. The tests tilled the soil of your soul, and now it's fertile, ready to grow blessings beyond measure. Every tear you shed was water, every prayer a seed. Now, the harvest is rising: abundance, joy, purpose. You're not just reaping, you're planting, creating a legacy that will feed generations. That's the power of a chosen one. Let's talk about the echo of your courage. It's not just heard, it's felt. The tests taught you to stand when others would run, to speak when others would hide. That courage is a vibration, shaking the foundations of fear. It's why people are drawn to you, why your story moves them. You're not just brave, you're a catalyst, stirring others to find their own strength. Your faith is a bridge now. The tests built it, plank by plank, across the chasm of doubt. Now, you're crossing it, and others are following. Your victory isn't just for you, it's a pathway, a way for others to reach their own promises. You're not just walking, you're leading, showing the world what faith can do. Your life is a crossing, and it's bringing others home. Chosen ones, your victory over the hardest tests didn't just set you free, it made you a key. You've unlocked doors not just for yourself, but for others, turning barriers into gateways. The trials you faced were not meant to confine you. They were designed to teach you how to open what others see as closed. Your faith, proven in the fire, is now a master key, opening paths to abundance, purpose, and divine connection. You're not just walking, you're turning locks, revealing what God has hidden for you. The tests gave you a voice that carries, not loud in the way the world expects, but steady, piercing, true. When you speak, people listen not because you demand it, but because your words carry the weight of someone who's been through the storm and come out whole. Your voice isn't just yours, it's God's, echoing through you to shift hearts, move minds, and awaken souls. You're not just talking, you're transforming. Let's talk about the rhythm of your steps. The tests taught you to walk in sync with God's timing, each stride a note in a divine melody. You're not rushing anymore, not stumbling. You move with purpose, with grace, with a cadence that draws blessings like a magnet. Every step is a declaration, a signal to the heavens that you're ready for what's next. You're not just moving, you're dancing with destiny. Think about Ezra. His test was to lead a broken people back to God, to rebuild a temple in a land of ruin. He faced opposition, doubt, and a nation's despair, but he trusted God's call. Your tests were your ruins, and your faith is your rebuilding. You're not just restoring your life, you're raising a temple, a place where God's presence dwells. Your victory is a sanctuary, and others are finding refuge in it. Your triumph is a spark that starts fires. The tests didn't dim your light, they made it contagious. Your faith, your courage, your refusal to quit its catching, spreading to those who see you, hear you, know you. You're not just shining, you're igniting, setting off a chain reaction of hope and transformation. Your life is a flame, and it's lighting up the darkness for others. Let's talk about the depth of your roots. The tests didn't shake you, they planted you deeper. Your faith is anchored now, reaching into the core of God's promises. No storm can uproot you, no doubt can sway you. This depth is your strength, letting you stand tall when the world trembles. You're not just grounded, you're eternal, a tree whose fruit feeds the hungry and whose shade shelters the weary. Your victory is a mirror to the heavens. It reflects God's faithfulness, His power, His love. The tests polished it, making it clear enough to show the world what He can do. When people look at you, they don't just see your story, they see His glory. You're not just a person, you're a reflection, showing others what happens when God walks with someone through the fire. Think about Hosea. His test was a love that cost everything, a call to trust God through betrayal and pain. Yet his obedience turned a broken story into a prophecy of redemption. Your tests were your brokenness, and your faith is your redemption. You're not just healed, you're a healer, showing others how God mends what the world shatters. Your life is a prophecy, and it's speaking hope. Let's talk about the current in your spirit. The tests didn't drain you, they charged you. You carry a divine energy now, a flow that shifts everything it touches. People feel it when you're near, a spark that stirs their souls. You're not just living, you're electrifying, bringing life to places that felt dead. Your victory is a power source, and it's lighting up the world around you. Your faith is a compass now. The tests taught you to trust it, to follow God's direction when the world's maps failed. That compass points to purpose, to promise, to places you haven't seen yet. It's why you're not lost anymore, why you move with certainty. You're not just wandering, you're guided, led by a hand that never fails. Your steps are sure, and they're leading you to glory. Let's talk about the weight of your story. It's not heavy, it's holy. The tests gave it depth, texture, truth. Every chapter, every scar, every triumph is a page that others read. Your life is a book, not of fiction, but of faith, showing the world what God can do with a heart that trusts. You're not just telling a story, you're writing scripture, a living word for those who need it. Think about Mordecai. His test was to stand for truth in a kingdom that wanted to destroy his people. He faced death, but he didn't bow. His faith saved a nation. Your tests were your stand, and your faith is saving more than you know. You're not just a survivor, you're a deliverer, carrying God's promise to those who need it. Your life is a rescue, and it's reaching far. Your victory is a wave. It doesn't just touch the shore, it reshapes it. The tests taught you to move with God's rhythm, and now your life is a tide, lifting everything in its path. You're not just succeeding, you're transforming, changing the landscape of lives around you. Your faith is a force, and it's carving new paths for others to follow. Let's talk about the clarity of your vision. The tests didn't cloud your eyes, they sharpened them. You see through the noise now, past the distractions, into the heart of God's plan. That clarity is your gift, guiding you to choices that align with purpose, to people who carry promise, to moments that matter. You're not just seeing, you're perceiving, and it's leading you to greatness. Your faith is a flame that doesn't consume, it creates. The tests didn't burn you out, they kindled something eternal. Now, your life sparks new beginnings, new hopes, new dreams. You're not just carrying fire, you're starting it, igniting possibilities in places others thought barren. Your victory is ablaze, and it's warming hearts that have grown cold. Think about Zechariah. His test was silence, waiting for a promise he couldn't speak. Yet when the time came, his voice broke forth in praise, proclaiming God's faithfulness. Your tests were your silence, and your faith is your song. You're not just speaking, you're singing, a melody of triumph that others can't help but hear. Your life is a hymn, and it's lifting spirits. Let's talk about the strength in your stillness. The tests taught you to stand firm, not in chaos, but in peace. That stillness is your power now, a quiet that holds the weight of God's presence. It's why you don't waver, why you don't rush. You're not just waiting, you're rooted, resting in a trust that moves mountains. Your calm is a force, and it's shifting the world. Your victory is a bridge to eternity. The tests built it, plank by plank, across the gap between earth and heaven. Now you're crossing it, and others are following. Your faith is a pathway, not just for you, but for those who see your life and find hope. You're not just walking, you're leading, showing others the way to God's promises. Let's talk about the light in your eyes. The tests didn't dim them, they lit them up. People see it now, a spark that wasn't there before. It's not just joy, it's certainty, the kind that comes from knowing God is faithful. Your gaze carries His truth, His love, His power. You're not just looking, you're shining, and it's drawing others to the light. Think about Tabitha. Her test was a life of quiet service, sewing for others, giving without fanfare. When she died, her work spoke, and God raised her up. Your tests were your service, your quiet faith, your unseen acts. Now they're speaking, and God is raising you. You're not just alive, you're a testimony, showing others what faith can do. Your victory is a current that carries. The tests taught you to flow with God's plan, and now you're moving others along. Your life is a river, lifting boats, washing away doubt, bringing life to dry places. You're not just succeeding, you're sustaining, a force that keeps others afloat. Your faith is a tide, and it's lifting the world. Let's talk about the power in your hands. The tests didn't weaken them, they strengthened them. You're not just holding on, you're building, creating, shaping a future that reflects God's glory. Your hands carry His authority now, to heal, to help, to hold. You're not just surviving, you're crafting, making something eternal with every touch. Your faith is a beacon now. The tests made it bright, unmissable, a light that cuts through fog and fear. People see it from miles away, drawn to your story, your strength, your certainty. You're not just standing, you're signaling, calling others to safety, to hope, to God. Your life is a lighthouse, and it's guiding souls home. Think about Jabez. His test was a name that meant pain, a life marked by struggle. Yet he prayed, and God expanded his borders. Your tests were your name, your pain, your struggle. But your faith was your prayer, and God is expanding you. You're not just blessed, you're a blessing, enlarging the lives of others with your victory. Chosen ones, your victory over the hardest tests didn't just make you stronger, it made you a vessel. The trials you faced were not meant to empty you, but to shape you into a container for God's glory. Every moment of struggle, every act of faith, carved out space within you to hold blessings that overflow. You're not just carrying your own story now, you're carrying His power, ready to pour it out into a world that's thirsty for hope. The tests taught you to walk with purpose, not rushed, not reckless, but steady, each step aligned with God's plan. You learn to move when He says move, to pause when He says wait. This rhythm is your strength, a cadence that keeps you grounded while others stumble. You're not just walking, you're marching, guided by a divine tempo that leads to promise after promise. Let's talk about the echo of your choices. Every time you chose faith over fear, you sent a ripple through time. Those ripples are reaching shores you'll never see, touching lives you'll never meet. Your victory isn't just a moment, it's a movement, shifting the course of destinies. You're not just living, you're influencing, a force that changes what's possible for others. Think about Samuel. His test was a childhood in a corrupt temple, hearing God's voice when others were deaf. Yet he listened, obeyed, and became a prophet who anointed kings. Your tests were your temple, your moments of hearing God through the noise. Now, You're not just hearing, you're speaking, anointed to carry his word to a world that needs it. Your triumph is a lens. The tests didn't blur of your vision, they focused it. You see the world differently now, not as a place of chaos, but as a canvas for God's work. That clarity lets you spot opportunities where others see obstacles, purpose where others see pain. You're not just looking, you're perceiving, seeing the divine in the ordinary, and it's guiding you to greatness. Let's talk about the strength in your stillness. The tests taught you to stand firm, not in noise, but in quiet trust. That stillness is a fortress, a place where God's voice is clear and doubt is silenced. It's why you don't waver, why you don't break. You're not just calm, you're anchored, rooted in a peace that holds you steady through any storm. Your victory is a spark that ignites change. The tests didn't dim your fire, they fueled it, turning your faith into a flame that spreads. People feel it when they're near you, a warmth that stirs their souls, a light that shows them the way. You're not just shining, you're kindling, starting fires of hope in hearts that have grown cold. Think about Abigail. Her test was a marriage to a fool, a crisis that threatened death. Yet she acted with wisdom, saving lives and earning a place with David. Your tests were your crisis, and your faith was your wisdom. You're not just surviving, you're saving, using your victory to protect and uplift others. Your life is a shield, guarding those around you. Let's talk about the current of your faith. It flows through you now, a river that carries God's promises to every corner of your life. The tests carved its path, and now it's unstoppable, nourishing your dreams, your relationships, your purpose. You're not just in the flow, you're the stream, bringing life to everything you touch. Your triumph is a signal to the heavens. The tests you passed were a conversation with God, a dialogue of trust and obedience. Now, that signal is clear, broadcasting your victory to the spiritual realm. Angels are moving, blessings are aligning, doors are opening. You're not just standing, you're radiating, a beacon that calls down divine favor. Let's talk about the weight of your presence. It's not heavy, it's holy. The tests gave you a gravity that draws others in, not by force, but by truth. People feel it when you walk into a room, a sense that something bigger is at work. You're not just present, you're powerful, carrying God's authority in every step. Think about Elisha. His test was to follow Elijah, to trust a calling bigger than himself. When the mantle fell, he didn't hesitate, he took it up and worked miracles. Your tests were your following, your preparation for a mantle of your own. Now, you're not just carrying it, you're using it, working miracles in ways only you can. Your victory is a tapestry of faith. Each test wove a thread, courage, trust, endurance, into a picture that tells God's story. The world sees the beauty, but you know the cost. That tapestry isn't just for you, it's for others. A reminder that every struggle has purpose. You're not just living, you're weaving, creating a legacy that will hang in eternity. Let's talk about the rhythm of your heart. The tests tuned it, aligning it with God's pulse. Every beat now carries His promise, His peace, His power. You're not just alive, you're in sync, moving with a divine cadence that draws blessings like a magnet. Your heart is a drum, and its rhythm is calling in the harvest. Your faith is a bridge to the impossible. The tests built it, plank by plank, across the gap of doubt and fear. Now, you're crossing it, and others are following. Your victory isn't just for you, it's a pathway, showing others they can reach what seems out of reach. You're not just walking, you're leading, guiding souls to their own miracles. Think about Ruth. Her test was loss, leaving her home for an uncertain future. Yet her loyalty led her to Boaz, to a legacy that changed history. Your tests were your leaving, your faith, your loyalty. Now, you're not just finding your place, you're creating it, building a future that will outlast you. Your life is a legacy, and it's growing. Let's talk about the fire in your spirit. The tests didn't quench it, they stoked it. You burn brighter now, not with anger, but with purpose. That fire is your power, warming those who are cold, lighting paths that are dark. You're not just burning, you're blazing, a flame that draws others to God's warmth. Your victory is a melody. The tests taught you its notes, each trial a chord in a song of triumph. Now, that melody is playing, resonating through your life and into the lives of others. People hear it, feel it, sing along. You're not just living, you're composing, a symphony that echoes God's faithfulness. Let's talk about the keys in your hand. The tests forged them, each one unlocking a new door opportunity, abundance, purpose. You're not just holding them, you're using them, opening paths that others thought were sealed. Your faith is the turn, your victory, the click. You're not just standing, you're entering, stepping into what God has prepared. Think about Joshua. His test was to lead after Moses, to conquer a land of giants, yet he trusted God's command, and walls fell. Your tests were your giants, and your faith made walls crumble. Now, you're not just conquering, you're claiming, taking hold of a land flowing with promise. Your life is a conquest, and it's just begun. Your victory is a current that lifts. The tests taught you to flow with God's plan, and now you're carrying others along. Your faith is a tide, raising boats, washing away doubt, bringing life to dry places. You're not just succeeding, you're elevating, lifting others to see what you see. Your life is a wave, and it's changing the shore. Let's talk about the light in your soul. The tests didn't dim it, they refined it, making it pure, piercing, eternal. It's not just in you, it's through you, shining out to guide others. People see it, feel it, follow it. You're not just glowing, you're guiding, a beacon that points to God's truth. Your faith is a cornerstone now. The tests laid it, solid and unshakable, a foundation for something eternal. You're not just building your life, you're building a legacy, a structure that others will stand on. Your victory is a rock, and it's holding up dreams, hopes, destinies. You're not just chosen, you're foundational. Think about Mary Magdalene. Her test was a past of shame, a life transformed by Jesus' love. She didn't just follow, she witnessed, carrying his truth to the world. Your tests were your past, and your faith is your witness. You're not just redeemed, you're proclaiming, showing others what God's love can do. Your life is a testimony, and it's speaking. Chosen ones, your victory over the hardest tests didn't just mark a moment, it sparked a movement that will echo through eternity. The trials you faced were not meant to break you, but to birth something unstoppable within you. Every step through the fire, every choice to trust, every moment you refused to bow carved a legacy that shines brighter than any storm. You're not just a survivor, you're a force, a living testament to God's faithfulness. And now the heavens are opening to pour out what you've been promised. Let's talk about the harvest waiting for you. The tests were the soil, your faith the seed, and now the ground is breaking open. Blessings are sprouting, abundance in your finances, peace in your heart, purpose in your steps. You didn't just pass the test. You planted a future that's now blooming. This harvest isn't just for you. It's for everyone who sees your life and finds hope. You're not just reaping, you're sharing, feeding souls with the fruit of your victory. Your faith is a riverbed now, carved deep by the tests you endured.